I'm Chris. I was on Jet. We'll do introductions in a little bit. This is Elissa. And we're going to be starting off just with a short introduction about life in a Japanese school. Kind of has a few different topics, but the general topic is overall life in a Japanese school. And like Peter and Roy said, every situation is different. So this is just our situations, or what our situations were.
Yeah, we were both Kyushu kids.
Oh,
we were
yeah.
both down south. So.
Yeah, down south.
I like to think it's like their California. So we were like near their version of San Francisco. Like that.
Right. Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess we'll just get started. Put the lights here. Get the lens cap off here. Okay, and we're gonna have questions at the end. If there's something you guys really have a burning question and you need answered right away, just raise your hand. We'll try to get to you. Let me get this started here. Okay, so quick introduction about me. So let me get this focused here. Okay, so my name's Chris Reed. I'm originally from Sonoma County, majored in Japanese and linguistics. Jet was my 4th time to Japan, so it wasn't really my first time, but it was definitely my first time living in Japan or living in a foreign country for an extended period of time. So in a way, it was kind of like my first time to Japan to actually live in the community. Here's a quick map of Japan. I was ALT for 2 years, 2007 to 2009 in Isahaya, Nagasaki. I see there's a couple people going to Isahaya this year. I don't know if they're here right now, but if you are, come talk to me later. Got lots to talk about. I taught at 4 elementary schools and 1 junior high school. My junior high school is really big. My elementary schools were pretty small. Some of them were suburban, some of them were very rural. So I kind of saw both sides of the coin. Comes to that. And Elissa.
Okay, about me. This is one of my schools. My name's Elissa Badique. I'm from Sacramento. I majored in English. And Jet was my first time in Japan. I'd never set foot there before until I came to Jet. And I was an ALT for 3 years, which is as long as your educator's visa is. So I stayed until my visa was done, and then I took my free flight home. Speaking of flight, Chris and I were on the same flight. We actually went to college together, and I saw him when we were leaving. But I was there from 2007 to last summer. And I taught 3 high schools and of 3 different levels, and 1 junior high school, and 2 special needs schools. This is a bit of a heavy load. So I basically taught the whole gamut, and that was basically because they had reduced the amount of ALTs in my prefecture, which is Yatsushiro Kumamoto, which is down south as well, in Kyushu. So I had to take on the load of 2 teachers, basically. Okay.
Okay, so first off, congratulations again. We really mean it because it seems like they're getting more and more applicants for the JET program every year.
Yeah, it's really a lot more competitive.
Yeah, so I think you guys are of a high caliber, which is good.
Very high.
Yeah, so just, our presentation is about schools, but it's also kind of about how you fit into the schools, how you can fit into the schools, our experience, how we fit into the schools, and just try to take what you can from it. So you guys are not just going to be English teachers in Japan. There's a lot of English teachers, but you guys are going to be English teachers in public schools.
Yeah, the government.
Yeah,
government
sponsored. Right, so you guys are being paid by the people in your community by their tax dollars. So that's something to keep in mind.
Yeah, that's something to really think about.
Right, and of course you've probably heard this before, but if you haven't, you will hear it many times. You guys are essentially international ambassadors. How you act and your behavior, that kind of represents, your country and also, where you come from.
And lucky for you, they know California and they know San Francisco. Maybe you should know just California, Hawaii, and New York.
Maybe Chicago. I don't know.
Maybe Chicago.
Right. So you don't have to say you're from Iowa and then say, oh, there's good potatoes from there. Right?
Yeah, usually they say America if they're from the Midwest, but us, we can say California and they'll go,
So just a few words about the public schools in Japan. This presentation will kind of talk about it a little bit, but there are some differences, obviously, between public schools in Japan and America. I would say in general, in Japan, public school plays a larger role in a student's academic and social life than it does here. I think here we have the conception that, you know, once school is out, you go home and that's where the relationship ends. In Japan, it's not quite like that. And often you'll see students at school on the weekends, holidays, and during the summer breaks. You'll see the kids at the summer break. During the summer break, you'll see them at school maybe almost every day, which is pretty mind-blowing for me.
Yeah, they can be doing like their club activities, or in my case, I taught at academic high school and academic junior high school. They're probably the highest like level of academics in the city, so they'll be doing extra courses, extra summer work as well.
Right. And yeah, they stay long hours after school too. And so these are, you know, the after school hours are a good chance for you to kind of get more involved with the school, and we'll kind of go into that later. Now, just a few words about you guys. You know, you're off to Japan, very exciting. Congratulations, we've said that many times. So it's natural you guys are probably excited, but you're also probably very nervous. So this,
I was.
yeah, it's natural, right? So we want to kind of help ease that nervousness and kind of show you maybe what your life may be like. And yeah, every situation is different, but there are many similarities between the schools, all schools in Japan, and we hope we can cover that. So, I'm going to start our presentation by explaining two common realities that ALTs may face. I think these are not uncommon. So, reality number one.
So you will be welcomed when you first arrive, and students who are really eager to learn English will approach you. There's my friend John, and I brought him to my English club, and one of my kids was like, "Oh wow, you're so cool." So yeah.
Okay, yeah. So you may see a lot of enthusiasm, which is great. Reality.
But many other students might have this "don't call on me" expression when you start teaching, and it all looks the same. They just so sleepy.
Right, and you know, you may see quite a difference between how they act outside of class and how they act inside of class.
Oh yeah.
Right. However, it's important to know that this does not mean that students don't like you. Don't take it personally, okay? It does not mean that students aren't interested in English. You'll find speaking with them outside of class that they really are interested in English. They want to talk to you. There's a way to turn this situation around. We're going to kind of go into that. Okay, reality number two. Now, this is a little cartoon. Maybe you can read it and kind of decipher what exactly is going on. So maybe we can role play this real quick. I'll be the teacher.
Do you need any help?
Yeah, 大丈夫ですけど.
Brilliant. Good night.
Okay, so for those of you that can't catch the Japanese, yeah, 大丈夫です is like, nah, no, it's okay, never mind, it's okay. So picture here is, this is the ALT right here.
Yeah, I have heard of junior high school ALTs who feel kind of lethargic.
This is the Japanese teacher of English right here. So as you guys know, you will be most of you will be assistant language teachers. Meaning you'll be working with another Japanese teacher of English. Some ALTs may feel kind of underutilized at first. You may feel like you only have to teach like 2 or 3 classes a day, and you have a lot of downtime.
Oh yeah, about that. How many of you are teaching elementary and junior high school? Oh, okay, there's maybe in high school? Okay, there's a couple yeah, usually high school teachers are kind of in the minority, and that's usually because you usually have a teaching background or you have a background in English. And so, yeah, it'll be a little bit different when you're a high school teacher. You normally make your own lesson plans, and you are the one teaching most of the lesson. And your JTE or your Japanese teacher you work with, they will just be your backup and usually your translator.
Yeah, so this was kind of my experience, and I've also heard of other ALTs with this experience, at least when I was at the middle school. When I was at elementary school, I was very busy. But this is something I've heard a lot, so just wanted to kind of prepare you for it. and also get you thinking about what you can do if you are in this situation. Okay. Now, this rut being feeling underutilized and feeling you have a lot of free time, can be avoided by joining in other things going on in the school, making up cool new activities and lesson plans, and spending your free time in ways that will be more fun and productive. Basically, we're trying to show you don't waste your free time. If you do have a lot of free time, feel lucky.
Yeah, that's really lucky because we're the total opposite. I was like very, very, very utilized. I mean, having to make maybe 4 different lesson plans per week, you know, for like about 4 different schools, so at different levels at each one. So I could barely sleep. It was really, really a lot of work for me. But it was fun because I had a lot of freedom, so I could do whatever I wanted.
Right. Okay, so this is general strategies for making your presence felt at school. So this is useful if you're very busy or if you have lots of time. It's good to make your presence felt at school. You don't want to be an ALT that kind of sticks in the teacher's room and is rarely seen.
Facebook.
Right, yeah, don't go on Facebook when you're at work, all right? They know what Facebook
with your iPhone
is.
over there.
Yeah. So basically, we just want to encourage you to try to be thinking about what you can do to make your presence felt. And basically, that can either be you participating in activities that are already going on in the school. Most schools have a lot of different stuff going on almost every day. And the more of those activities you can participate in, the better.
Lots of clubs.
Lots of clubs.
Lots of clubs.
And the second thing you can do is creating your own activities, right? Spending your free time to make lesson plans or activities that are fun for the kids and everything. And yeah, and throw in humor and pop culture. Kids love that. It keeps them interested. If it's just straight grammar, they're gonna probably tune out a little bit.
Yeah, remember, you're the superstar of the school. Everyone wants to know about you
Yeah,
and where you're
that's right.
from. So, yeah, just throw in like some interesting stuff. Try to represent, represent California because they know it.
So yeah, like she said, everyone wants to know you. So give them that chance. You're gonna have a lot of students, and you're not gonna have a lot of chances to talk to everyone. So just make as many chances as you can. Cool. All right. So
what you get out of your JET experience is what you put into it, and that's really, really true.
definitely.
Yeah, you get what you get.
Right. So if you feel underutilized, get out there and make some things happen.
It's a feel-good rush. So we would like to share our personal stories on how we avoid getting caught in the boring rut, only doing what was required. So for me, even though I was busy, I still wanted to, I felt like I was not really felt around the school like my first year because I was still figuring it out. But yeah, eventually I got to know it, and it made my experience so much better, getting to know the kids.
Okay, so this is the part of the presentation where we're just going to talk about things in the school day that is common amongst almost every school, and kind of how you can kind of jump in there and make your presence felt at school. So, of course, we have lunchtime. A little picture of a Kyushoku here.
What's that right here?
It looks like a salad or something.
Oh yeah, sometimes they have salad with really interesting stuff in it. So.
Right, yeah.
Oh, important thing is some ALTs, I know one ALT, and he was just a minority, kind of an exception, I hope. He would not eat Japanese food. And it really, the teachers try to put him away and on the side so the kids don't see it. So make sure that you show them, hey, Americans can eat anything. We're not picky. We don't live off hamburgers.
Yeah, that's right. Pizza, yeah. So make sure you try it.
Even if it's natto day.
Yeah.
You know what natto is, right?
Or whale meat, give it a try. When's the next time you're gonna try whale meat, All right. I would really encourage you to do that. So, and also that lunchtime is, a great opportunity to bond with the kids. Let's see, in my middle school, the middle school is really big, so I set up a schedule, a rotation schedule of each day I would have lunch with a certain classroom, and the kids would kind of look forward to it. So I recommend doing that. By all means, don't eat lunch in the teacher's room if you can avoid it. I'd say every lunch, try to spend time with the kids. It's really fun, and they'll get to know you better, and the teachers will really appreciate that effort.
well.
And that's really important. You want to make a good impression, not just on the students and the community, but the teachers as well, because they're your coworkers. They're putting in a lot of hours, and you want to impress them. That's good.
They want to see your beautiful face and see how you use chopsticks.
Right. You got to give them what they're paying you for. So, yeah, and if you're going to elementary schools, most likely the teachers are going to have a schedule for you. They're going to make sure that you're spending every lunch with the class, because you're a valuable commodity, and the kids like will totally be interested in you.
So how many of you guys are teaching special needs schools? Have you got many? Oh no. Okay. Well, yeah, I taught at special needs schools, and they had me stay with the class I was teaching that day.
Yeah, you may find out later you're going to go to some special needs schools or classes. That's a good time to bond with them. And we also have recess times. Recess, I think this includes lunchtime too, but there's also breaks, smaller breaks where the kids play, especially in elementary school. And so this is another good time to interact with kids. If you're at elementary school, they're going to be playing outside, running around, playing tag, and doing all this stuff. And that's great to participate that way. If you don't have the energy for that, especially during the summer months, you can't do that every day, or else you may die.
Yeah.
But I would
Very
say,
different summers there.
Yeah, right.
Really sticky.
Sticky and humid. But you can also go to the library. Kids are always in the library, and often they're the more kind of quiet kids.
And
so
air conditioned.
Air conditioned, right? Well, sometimes, not my school.
No.
So yeah, hang out in the library, talk to the kids, see what they're reading. That's a great place to talk with the students. They also have English books in the library too. I found some really interesting English books in my junior high school library. It was really weird. They had like a book on Scottish history. I don't know why, but it was really interesting.
Yeah, at my high school they had I think a lot of celebrity and pop magazines. So
cool.
I just hung out with the girls and gushed over like I don't know, like Zac Efron. pretend that you think he's cute.
Right. Yeah, so I mean, even though we are technically English teachers, a big part of our job is, grassroots community involvement, international relations at the grassroots level. So this is a great chance for that, is kind of socializing with the students. So, go to the library, ask students what they're reading. They may recommend you some books you can check out, and then you can that'd be a great conversation starter. All right, and okay, so this is the Soran Shitsu counselor's room. This is a room in every school that I suggest when you guys get there, you find out where that is, because this is a room where they have board games and card games that a lot of the kids also hang out in besides the library. So this is another place you can get to know some kids on a more personal level.
Also, if you're in a high school, this is also where a lot of kids who are planning to go to university will kind of check with their counselors and their homeroom teachers. That's where my ESS, or English Speaking Society Club, keeps all of their board games, and I actually bought board games for them from here, like Scrabble and what else? Taboo. Yeah, Apples to Apples. I want that too. Be sure to get the kids edition though. Yeah, it's better to get the kids edition.
So yeah, we're just
going
to go through a couple of the rooms, common rooms you're going to see at schools. So you may want to take notes on some of these and just keep an eye out for them. There may be some instances where you're at a totally, Inaka school that has like 5 students.
Yeah, Inaka means countryside.
Yeah, countryside. So they may not have some of these rooms, but almost every school, I think, has them. Okay. This is a picture of after lunch recess. So, there's lunchtime, and then there's a little break after lunch. It's another good time to kind of hang out with your kids and play card games and bond with them. Yeah, so these kids are pretty not really English savvy students,
You look like a card shark.
I tried to get them to do monster faces, but they wouldn't. But yeah, so these kids, they had that "don't call on me" expression in class, but when you hang out with them outside of class, they're really trying to talk to you in English. And, I think we made a lot of progress with these kids. Okay, some other ideas for during recess, we'll put volleyball around. A lot of kids do that. This is more for the elementary school, but playing tag, cops and robbers, dodgeball, and it's just good exercise, and it's fun.
You have a unicycle at your school?
Yeah, almost every elementary school I went to had unicycles and stilts. It was awesome.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
Yeah, and I tried it, and it's fun. Jump rope, tires. You could teach them some games that you may know. I've forgotten a lot of those games, but if you can remember them, bring them up. Red Rover, I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with Red Rover.
Yeah, be sure to go on the internet and check out your games.
Yeah, I would be really careful about playing Red Rover. I actually wanted to erase this part before the presentation, but I spaced it and I didn't get to it because I tried doing that and kids got clotheslined and I had to stop it right there. So just be really careful, with the games. But I mean, in general, the teachers are pretty open to trying new things, and yeah. So, but keep an open mind. Try to show them some games. Here's another room in most schools, the broadcasting room. And that's where they have the PA system where they make announcements.
Oh, yeah.
And they
There's
take
the club.
Yeah, the club. They take it pretty seriously. Do you have some stories about broadcasting room?
Well, the people, it says here that you can play English songs that are broadcast over the whole PA system in the whole school. So I had some friends who, I feel really jealous of the junior high school people and elementary school because they do that. I think my schools are just a little bit more strict, but they wouldn't let me play, they don't allow me to play stuff overhead. So what I did was during cleaning time, which we're going to talk about later, I would strap an iPod with a little speaker that looked like a Lego brick to myself, and while I was helping clean, I'll be blasting Katy Perry or Coldplay or something. And then, wherever I went, they'd hear the music. Yeah.
So, I guess at the elementary school and middle school, it's a little different. During lunchtime, a lot of times they play songs that they say that listening to music while you eat is good for your digestion, which may or may not be true. But yeah, so I just, I took the initiative and said, oh, can we play, some music? And of course, appropriate music.
What did
And
you do?
some simple, I did Beatles, which they're
cool.
pretty familiar with,
I love
but
Beatles.
I would say anything with really clear lyrics that are easy to understand. I mean, you don't want to play noise rock or noise death metal or something like that. Yeah, I also played the Decemberists because they have very clear lyrics, the voice is very clear, and kids can kind of catch some of the lyrics.
Yeah, almost every ALT I know in my area took advantage of that and played as many pop songs or their favorite songs as they could.
Yeah, and it's fun. A lot of times in Japanese, this is where I got the idea. They have quizzes over the loudspeaker. Kind of what's the word? Questions, and they have to think of the answer. Riddles. So yeah.
See, your English will slip after years.
It's true.
I forgot how to say kettle once. It was really bad.
So one thing I did too, I had an interview in English, a very simple, obviously, English interview with the teacher over the loudspeaker. And the kids really like it. They don't really have, while they're eating, they don't have much else to do other than listen.
They have to listen to you.
Yeah. So, but make sure you talk with the teacher first. Don't just find the room, walk in there, and turn on the system. Obviously you have to talk with the teacher. As you get more comfortable in the staff room, you'll kind of figure out who's in charge of what. And if there's some sort of language barrier, you can have your Japanese teacher of English talk to the teacher in charge of the broadcasting room for you and kind of feel it out. But I would say, be kind of cautious, but also just really try and be outgoing. And we have some general hints about getting involved a little bit later. This is another thing I did a little bit, joining other classes. Again, make sure you talk to the teachers beforehand. Don't just kind of show up in their class.
Sometimes they'll ask you though.
Yeah, they'll ask you, and that's great. If you are interested, talk to the teachers, and I think a lot of them will appreciate that effort. Did you ever join many classes?
I did, yeah. I would kind of hop into certain classes, and I think as a reward for doing a good job with some classes that I'm not teaching myself, some of the teachers got wind that I danced single ladies. So, well, I have a YouTube channel. I posted a video, but if you look up single ladies, Japanese high school, it'll be me dancing single ladies in front of some students.
It was a viral hit.
he was like, how did you get so many hits? And I was like, I don't know. People just look up Japan and single ladies and see what they But yeah, so they found out, and then I would just kind of dance for whatever class. I'd explain what single ladies meant and what the song meant.
And yeah, it's great to kind of become more familiar with what these students go through when they're not in your English class, to get kind of an idea of what classes are like. But again, talk to the teacher first, and a lot of times they'll be more than happy to let you join. I've participated in an art class, Japanese language class, math class, history class. Kind of my personal story at first, like I really didn't want to do that. I didn't think it was possible. And I was really worried about kind of disrupting the class, you know, because every time I walked down the hall, people would kind of yell at me, you know. So I was a little, I was a little stuck in the teacher's room at first, and then I would talk to other ALTs and hear that they actually did join in classes, and I said, I want to do that. So I really recommend to, look into that and feel it out, because it really makes a difference and make your presence felt at school. Yeah.
And for high school, I would suggest social studies would be a really good place to start. That's usually where I would kind of step in.
Right.
And art, like they have a lot of cool art stuff. If you're high school level, they're really good, and they do interesting stuff with art.
Yeah, and you will quickly find out like which teachers are more comfortable with a little bit of English and stuff. And I think in high school a lot of the teachers are more competent in English, but then you can kind of get an idea on what teachers are kind of really nice and buddy-buddy with you, that you may feel more comfortable joining their classes than other teachers. But it's just kind of something you have to kind of feel out and, be social and be friendly, and you will make contacts.
A really good chance to do that is the drinking parties.
Yeah.
Your welcome drinking party. Don't overdo it. Don't mix your liquors. I got very sick my first party. Kind of embarrassing, but it made them feel very comfortable around me. Like, oh, she can't hold her liquor. I'll show you. But they usually, after they get a few drinks in them, then they're okay to start speaking English, and then they'll remember that you were cool at the party.
It's a good bonding opportunity. You'll probably, once you get to your prefecture, you'll probably have a meeting, a workshop like this about etiquette for an NKAI, or drinking party. But I definitely encourage you to do that, because it's a big, important part of Japanese work culture.
Yeah, don't skip out on those. Well, not free.
It's not free.
Not free all the time.
It's worth everything. So, cleaning time. Okay, this is another part of the school day that every school has, probably even the schools with one student. So this, you'll notice maybe you're working on a lesson plan, and all of a sudden no one's in the staff room, maybe like one or two people, and that is probably because either there's an assembly going on or it's cleaning time. And really recommend you guys to get involved with the cleaning time. People may not ask you to help out, that happens a lot, but I would say be proactive and be like, okay, how can I help? Talk to your English teacher or any teachers you're friends with, and even if you're just sitting there sweeping up dust, like that makes a big difference on their impression of you, and it'll show that you're serious.
Yeah, and what I do at my high schools, at junior high schools, is I kind of rotate, I kind of wander around the whole school when I can, because the cleaning time is pretty long. How long was it with you?
Like 40 minutes.
Yeah. See, it's a pretty long time, so I would spend 5 minutes with one group, talk with them, play some music, and then move on. When the next track comes on, I'll move to the next group. And I always hit up the bathrooms, because that's usually where teachers don't go. So I can talk about anything with my students there.
Yeah,
and they're really happy to have you there. They're like, oh, you're going to help us clean the toilets. It's great.
Yeah. I mean, that's more advanced. Maybe you definitely will try to work your way up there.
I usually stay in the very middle. There's a courtyard in the middle of my school, so I would stay in the middle and usually sweep. And that way, and they usually switch around the student groups as well. So every month they switch up, like who does what.
And this is kind of like a general theme of maybe your experience in Japan. It was for me, definitely, is that teachers may not explicitly ask you to do something. Like, it's very doubtful that teachers can be like, hey, why don't you get on this rotation of cleaning the bathrooms? Like, most likely, a teacher's not going to say that, but it's kind of, I think it's good etiquette to kind of offer. And you kind of jump in there and do it, because someone might not ask you, and just because they don't ask you doesn't mean that they're not thinking about it.
Yeah.
So if you can beat them to the punch, like they'll
be very impressed.
They'll be impressed. There's this is cleaning time. I'm kind of slacking off here, but at least I'm talking to the students. But I try not to do this all the time. So students are always in their classroom. This is just kind of general. You can kind of, if there's not class going on, and you're bored, just walk around and see what's going on, just to kind of get a feel for the daily school schedule. This is me playing some John Ken.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah. Okay. After school, this is another good time, another good opportunity to get involved. So as we said before, students stay in school very late hours usually, either with clubs or extra help.
Yeah, sometimes till about the time that the teachers leave, which is around 7:30 at night. So once they shut down the school and the security starts coming in to shut it down, that's when some kids leave. So they're pretty dedicated.
Yeah. So you don't have to stay there till 7:30, but I would say if you can get involved in some things going on after school, that looks really, really good, and the teachers really appreciate it, and it shows that you are willing to try to be involved in the community, and you're not just one of those English teachers that kind of shows up for the class, checks out, and then is done, like a lot of privately contracted ALTs, and we are not them, so it's trying to get involved.
So I actually have a story about this. I wasn't told explicitly when my hours ended, so I just looked around me and I saw the teachers were there till 7:30, so I kicked back until 7:30. And they were really, really impressed, because I think I was the first one who actually stayed that late for most of the year. And then I found out that my contract time actually ends around 4:15. So, because I was used to kind of staying around and hanging out with clubs, I just stayed late anyway. Yeah. It was fun, but.
Yeah, mine was 4:15. I had to stay till 4:15, but that was like 7.5 hours a day. I had many jobs where you only worked that much, so I usually stayed till like 5:36. Yeah. Every situation is different, but I would encourage you just to not really think about it too much and just kind of get involved.
Yeah, that's what ends up happening. It's like I was like, oh, sweet, I can go home early, but then I was just so used to staying later and just hanging out. Well, I could leave before 7:30. I would just hang out till my heart's content, then go home.
Right. Okay. So now we're going to kind of get involved in, or go in to the clubs a little bit, and so after school there may be like an English club going on in your school, maybe not. You can try to start an English club. You can try to join the English club going on. You could also check out other clubs going on. There's sports clubs, there's art clubs, tons of different stuff. Just try to be social and outgoing, and try to find out what's going on in your school and get involved. That's kind of general advice. And yeah, this is like me helping a kid with his homework. You can do that too. And in this kind of endeavor, the JTEs, your Japanese Teachers of English, are great help. They're the ones that will kind of be the go-betweens and help you let you know what's going on, and help you set up stuff if you want to, which I really recommend.
Oh yeah, the senior high school ALTs, you will be assigned an English club most of the time, and you will basically be in charge of it. So it's your call, along with your Japanese English teacher or whoever else is involved. Usually there's one other teacher, but they usually give you free reign to do whatever you want, and you usually meet maybe once or twice a week. So yeah, it's part of your job.
Right. Yeah, and for me it was a part of my job at the elementary schools. The middle school it wasn't. I kind of had to do my own thing, but yeah, this is a chance. After school is really your chance to do a lot of the fun stuff, like the single ladies dance or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. And after school, more after school stuff, maybe right when class gets out, you can kind of, I would often go outside and just kind of hang out with the kids, and it's a great time to meet some parents too, which is really nice. In the morning too, you can also meet parents. When school gets out, a lot of times the teachers will go outside and make sure the kids are getting home okay and not slacking off or getting in trouble and stuff. And
Or they're in charge of a club and they'll go with the club.
Right, they'll go with the club. So it's kind of fun to kind of see the activities going on and just, again, just get out there and see what's going on. Don't stay cooped up in the teacher's room, even though there's that, you know, luscious air conditioner.
So yeah, like when you're trying to get acquainted with your new schools, I would just walk around after school and just make your rotation around the clubs. Just visit every club, say hi, and
don't be shy.
Don't be shy.
Yeah.
And whatever you're interested in with Japanese culture, I like comics, I like manga. So I would talk to the biology club all the time because the students in there were really interested in it. And some of them actually ended up drawing my favorite characters, and they are incredibly good artists in Japanese high schools, the best I've seen. So,
yeah. So now, you know, you're going to want to talk to the kids, but of course, you know, there's that language barrier. Kids will probably be a little uncomfortable speaking English. I know they were in middle school. I'm sure they were in high school as well.
They're a little anxious, but
yeah,
depending on the high school, the academic high schools, they're a little bit better with English because they scored higher on the tests. That doesn't mean that they'll go up to you and start talking. Usually they're pretty shy, but they have the highest marks. So sometimes, you know, if you start talking to them and you kind of push them and you don't speak Japanese back, try to keep it to as much simple English as possible. Try not to fall back on your Japanese if you know Japanese. So try to use as much English as possible. And they'll basically be forced to use whatever English they know, and then you'll get a good conversation. Or good gesture conversation.
Hand gesture is very important.
Yeah.
And then so here's just some basic topics about conversation starters because, you know, kids may be a little shy. You may be a little nervous too, I know I was. So there's the classic, do you like?
Do you like?
Yeah, so I have this ongoing joke with my kids where I would say, do you like, and then add something really random in Japanese at the end, and to the grade school kids. And it's simple enough that they can understand. So I'd say like, do you like tororo? Do you like unagi or whatever, you know? And but almost all kids know, do you like such and such, except maybe the really young ones. And what music do you like?
Very important in junior high school and high school. Music is their life, especially all the pop groups. So if you try to get yourself acquainted with the pop music, even though you may not like it, it's good to be really familiar with it. Like Arashi was really big. So you'd pick, or Toho Shinki, the Korean group, that was huge. And I would pick a guy and be like, oh, he's so cute. And the girls, yeah, so I would pick the one that they all don't like, just so they don't feel so intimidated. That was my trick. So I picked the funny one.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, obviously you want to teach them your background, the popular culture that you like, your interests, but you also want to show an interest in what they like. So,
yeah, it's kind of a good icebreaker, and then you ask. And usually that you'll be surprised. A lot of people like Lady Gaga and Coldplay and things like that.
Right. So another way to get involved, events. There are a lot of events going on at your school, as we've mentioned. You know, these are just some examples. Track and field days, kind of like sports day, day trips, farewell events, welcome events. They'll probably have a welcome event for you. Field trips, etc. So I would say just try to be conscious of the schedule, the daily schedule of what's going on and how you can participate. The track and field days, the sports days are really fun. You know, that's a big production. It goes on all day, and you go in on like a Saturday, you get the next day off, you get like a Monday off for it. And just try, some of these they'll kind of require you to participate in, but a lot of times they won't. But if you know they're going on and you say, hey, I want to come, what can I do? That'll look really good and show that you know you're serious. So again, be proactive and social, and
take
just
the
try to
initiative.
get involved. Yeah, take the initiative.
And what is a really fun thing to participate in is what they call bunkasai, which is a culture festival. And if you're like a comic geek like me, you've been familiarized through manga. It's basically where they have the haunted houses and all those little booths and things. So they also have a stage show, which if you're not shy, it's a really fun thing to do. Once I found out about it, in the following years, every year I try to join and bring all my ALT friends and do like a stage show. So if you go to my, I don't know if we'll have time today, but I have a YouTube channel for Elissa Sensei. So just look in there, you'll see me dancing like a fool. Bunkasai stage is where you'll see me do like evolution of dance, Lady Gaga stuff with some friends, and the Fitz dance. It's a gum dance, a really fun one. So, you know, you'll see how well the students react to it, and they love it, and it kind of lets your presence be known. And students from other schools come to the culture festivals. So they'll get to see you as well, and then they'll probably see their ALT as well, and they'll think it's cool.
And one more thing, make sure you show up to these events.
Oh yeah.
As we say here, you know, don't flake. Especially if it's an optional thing, well, especially if it's required, but if it is optional and you say, I want to go, I'm going to go, make sure you show up, because you know, you don't want to lose any respect from your coworkers if you just are too hungover to show up or something. That's bad, don't do it.
Like sports competitions, sometimes there are sports competitions if you're in a high school, and they're all over the city or all over the prefecture. If you go and visit like and support your home school, that means so much to them.
And it's really fun. It's so fun, and I mean, you know, I really recommend it, and you really get to experience more Japanese culture and kind of life in the community. You'll meet parents, teachers, and it's really great way to kind of increase your visibility in the community. Cool.
Okay, yeah. So this is what they call taikusai or undokai. It's kind of like this is a Japanese kind of team cheer squad. She's my friend on Facebook now. But yeah, like you'll see your influence over the years if you stick around and kind of. My school wasn't super westernized, but once I came in and started familiarizing them with like pop culture and things, their symbol ended up being Michael Jackson because I loved Michael Jackson. So my team, this was 2010. This is after he passed away. So they knew how much he meant to me, and I'm wearing Michael Jackson there too. Yeah, they took my favorite color. They made the chants like "Yes, we can" by Obama. I also had an Obama shirt I would wear all the time. So like, yeah, like they really were influenced, and you get to see it like after years or so sticking around.
Okay, I'm just gonna go through this a little quickly. Running out of time here. Introduce the holidays. You probably get a lot of this at your orientation in Tokyo.
Yeah.
You know, just of ideas for activities, especially for grade school. So one thing I did was I bought some pumpkins, and we did pumpkin carving. Kids loved it. They thought the pumpkin really stank, but they thought it was cool, and they're like, whoa, and they wanted to touch the insides and, you know, kind of taste it a little bit. More pictures here. Memorable experience. So yeah, anything with a kind of seasonal theme always goes over really well, especially with the younger ones.
Your ESS club, that's a really good thing to do. I'm actually wearing a pink wig here. It looks purple. But this is at my special needs schools. You'll see that they're in wheelchairs. I was at a where they were more physically disabled, and then I also went to a school where it's mostly autistic students. So what I did was I dressed up for Halloween lessons, and I would explain the Halloween holiday. So.
Okay, Easter egg dyeing. So did a little Easter egg dyeing. That was fun.
They don't do that there. They don't know anything about Easter.
Yeah, it's a little lesser known. I mean, they know about Halloween, Christmas, but Easter's not so well known. Thanksgiving. This is a really common activity you'll probably see in books and stuff, and you'll probably get it in Tokyo. Was hand turkeys, right? So where they write what they're thankful for. That's fun for the kids. So yeah. Also, crafty things, hands-on activities are really good for kids that, you know, kind of zone out during heavy grammar sessions. Keep it interesting. Space in the hallway.
Yeah, your English board. I had one.
Yeah, I had one too. It actually took me a while to get one. I had to be really proactive. I had to ask teachers a lot of times if I could get one.
You didn't have a space leased out for you already?
No, I asked if I could do it, and they were kind of, oh, well, we're not sure. We'll get back to you. And I think the bottom line was they just wanted to make sure that I was serious and that I would kind of keep up with it.
Okay,
and
mine
so,
had a tradition of it, so.
Yeah, okay, so, right, so if they don't have a tradition, start one, and if, you know, you're kind of turned down at first, just keep at it and show them that you're serious and motivated, and you're not going to just put it up and just forget about it, you know, right? So, yeah, I posted puzzles, newsletters, pictures. I have some examples later. pen pal exchange. I had the opportunity to start a pen pal exchange, also an art exchange, just kind of through the internet, looking through stuff, also talking to my contacts back here. So that's something you may want to think about it. It's a little bit of work, but it's definitely worth it. And
there was a website, but I forgot the name.
Yeah, me too. But you know, I'm sure you guys can find it if you just Google it and look around. These are my kids working on their emails back to the U.S. and they totally took the English that they learned and ran with it. You know, and then I of course would read their messages and proofread it for them. I think it was pretty helpful. They learned a lot. It's a practical setting, so they can actually see a real need for communicating. Yeah, result is not just some abstract concept in a textbook or on the blackboard. Okay, joining club activities, we talked about this a little bit. Lots of clubs going on, and as Elissa said, it's good just to make your rounds and kind of show your face, you know.
Yeah, well, what I did is I would have like a prop or something. What I did is something cool to bring over that I recommend all of you try is bring black licorice. Like you take Twizzlers, and you'll see like more videos on my channel, but I basically take red and black licorice and I go around the school, what we call a batsu game, kind of like a, how do you explain that in English?
Batsu, like yes or no, or
yeah,
up or
yes
down,
or no, or
yay or
like
nay. Yeah.
You get something wrong, and then you get a bad prize or something. But what I do is I say, okay, this is American candy, yay! And they're all excited. I give them black licorice. They eat it, and the face they make is just priceless. So I have videos of that if we have time.
Okay, so here's the kendo club. I will say a quick thing about some clubs. Some clubs, especially the sports clubs, are like super hardcore. Like the baseball club, they meet 7 days a week, every single day.
Army-like
summer,
training.
yeah. And so those clubs are maybe a little more difficult to get involved in. I mean, if you're like a gifted athlete, which I'm not.
Oh
you
yeah,
know,
you can actually play.
Yeah,
okay.
actually play.
I would just go and hang out.
Yeah, like that's mainly what I did. But I mean, if you do have a talent for like basketball or baseball, I would say talk to the teacher involved. Try to get involved. Table tennis is good. Yeah, and I actually knew one ALT in Nagasaki who was a near Olympic level track runner, and he actually ran the track team at his high school. That's a little unusual, but if you do have that athletic talent, you can probably use it, and they'd be very happy. This is a website one of my good friends made in Japan. His name's Tyler. His website was named Gambari Tyler.
This is also our classmate, is it?
Yeah, no, actually different.
Oh, different Tyler, okay.
So this is like more kind of blog format, and it's obviously meant for a middle school student at that English level and of those interests. So he has like one post that's the difference between the Pokemon names in England, in America, and Japan. Also has a Daft Punk song posted.
Yeah, I actually had one myself, but it was taken down because it was GeoCities, and yeah, it was kind of a bummer. Yeah.
Just another example, and he also had like a little journal. When he went to the school concerts and stuff. He kept track of that, and the kids love seeing that stuff. You may want to talk to some teachers about that. They may have some ideas about a website or give you some pointers or things to think about.
And like you print the website on a little handout or at the bottom of your homework handout so the students can come home and check it out. Because sometimes they don't have access to it at school, the internet.
Okay. General advice, memorizing names. Yeah, it's tough, especially Japanese names. But it's really worth the effort. Teachers, students, they will notice, and it's very important. In the teacher's room, they may give you a handout that has like the seating chart of each teacher's desk, and that's a good thing to study.
Or the PTA roster?
Rosters, right. So,
and with students, I give them English nicknames. It really helps. Like they pick out an English name in the beginning of the class. Yeah.
So we've kind of gone over this before. Get into a positive routine. I'd say start off the bat as soon as you can. Be proactive. Don't get into a slump. Be enthusiastic. Excitement is infectious. Right? Be persistent. You may need to keep on asking the same question a few times before the teachers realize that you're serious. But don't ever step your bounds. Okay, this is kind of easier said than done. But you don't want to step on anyone's toes. Kind of try to check things over with your teachers first, if you can. Incorporate your interests into activities of your own. Be willing to try new things and let the students be the teachers. So that's very important. don't waste your time at your desk. Go on Facebook during your own time. Learn
Yeah,
the
I catch a lot of my friends doing that.
Yeah, I knew of ALTs that did that, and you know, it's not good. I wouldn't recommend getting into that habit. Learn the daily schedule of your schools. Yeah.
Oh yeah, for you senior high school kids, teachers, you're gonna be teachers now. But if you have an ESS club, it's a good idea to bring other ALTs, like ALT friends that you'll be making. I have videos of that too, but I bring one of my friends with me, and he was there for our meetings.
Right. So yeah, don't stay cooped up in the teacher's room. This is very good practical advice. Just, it's nice to do some things. You have to do work in the teacher's room, but try to get out there and experience life in a Japanese school. Okay. Here's some quick examples, thank you. Quick examples of worksheets I made. This one I had help of a Japanese teacher for the Japanese crossword puzzle. Harry Potter, the kids love Harry Potter, right? Scramble, word search, Pirates of the Caribbean. These are all things I kind of gave for extra credit, or I would give prizes. If you factor in prizes, even with high school kids, I'm sure they really get into it. So
yeah, my prize is dance like a monkey.
Right.
Well, in front of them.
Or little knickknacks, stickers, you know, whatever. This is a little quiz, true-false quiz about myself. Pretty simple. And here's a little interview I did and posted of a new teacher. And the kids really liked that. I had some kids that kind of became very devoted to my worksheets and looked for it. This is another cool idea.
Yeah, oh, I did that too.
Take out the captions, let them create their own. Spider-Man's very popular.
Oh yeah, actually I have an example too, but I did something called Penny Arcade Remix. I don't know if you heard about that. So if you look up Penny Arcade Remix online, you will see like a Japanese, I think high school teacher tried to use Penny Arcade for their comics, and I did that too, and it had hilarious results. It was really, really fun.
The other one my friend did that I really liked was he had the LOL cats, lolcats, and he took out the captions, had the kids create their own captions.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, those were so funny. Yeah. So yeah, okay, we don't have a whole lot of time. Any quick questions? We're gonna put up our emails here. Feel free to contact either of us. If you want a copy of this presentation, we can send it to you too. So just hit us up anytime. More than welcome to answer any questions. Yeah.
So for club activities, is it mainly high school, or do elementary schools and junior high schools also have club activities after school?
Both. Elementary schools is not, they don't meet quite as often. When they get into middle school, it starts becoming more common.
And it becomes part of their identity.
Yeah, it's really, that's how they make a lot of their friends, and yeah, their identity definitely. So.
And if you want to see fun videos, just go to my YouTube.
Yeah, we don't have any time for videos.
Yeah, it's all cool.
Any other questions? Real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
Is there any room to make your own clubs, or to, or is that something that's looked upon, or?
Well, depending on the school, I had a few different levels of high school. I had the lowest, the middle, and the highest. And the lowest is basically the most relaxed, and the highest is, they're pretty strict. But I'm sure if you ask, they'll probably give you a chance to do it. But there's usually a club for everything. But if there's like an American culture club, you can definitely start that. That'd be fun.
Any other questions?
Don't be shy.
Don't be shy. Yeah.
What's like the dress attire like when you guys?
Oh,
that comes
was
up a lot.
That's a big one. I pushed the boundaries on that one. As you can see.
I would say every situation is different.
It is. It really is.
I would say in general, high school is probably a little more formal than
Very formal.
Elementary
they all
school.
Wear suits.
Yeah, middle school and elementary school is pretty casual. A lot of teachers wear tracksuits. I didn't wear tracksuits, but I would say
you turn really Japanese once you get your first tracksuit.
Right. So I would say just show up. My advice would be to show up. Make it apparent that you're making an effort.
Yeah, it's
certainly
always better
for
to be overdressed.
your first few weeks, month maybe, and then kind of see like what other teachers are wearing and kind of get a feel for it. But every situation is different. I was in Kyushu, which is very, provincial and not near a city. So I'm guessing that may have something to do with it being pretty casual.
Yeah, it's good to be conservative. So ladies, no spaghetti straps.
Yeah.
Usually shirts that end here or lower are good. Definitely not skirts like higher than this. Definitely not. And well, what I did was I liked petticoats and frilly stuff, and it was bright colors are kind of you know, iffy.